Hello, Michael Swain here after Kansas basketball's 72-71 loss to Arkansas in the round of 32 of the NCAA tournament. And this is where Kansas's 2023 season comes to an end, a probably disappointing end. We just finished up our post-game interviews in the locker room, and as you can suspect, it's a pretty devastated group. I think the way the game plays out lends itself to that. Kansas played really well for 30 minutes. And over the final 10 minutes, really over the final 5 minutes, they really struggled. And Arkansas was able to take momentum. The Razorbacks led for less than 2 minutes of this game, but they led when it counted, when the clock hit 0. I think you got to start from the beginning of the game because I think this is a game that had so many ebbs and flows. It was a very evenly contested start, but KU did have control of the game. Their game plan was perfect. It was working really well. Arkansas is a team that shoots really well at the rim, but cannot shoot threes and really struggles in the mid-range. Well, early on in the game, Arkansas, their shot selection was terrible. A lot of threes, a lot of really tough mid-range jumpers, not necessarily high percentage looks. KU, on the other hand, wasn't knocking down every shot, but was getting good looks. And then I think what you saw happen is about midway through the first half, Arkansas really picked up the energy offensively. Their ball movement started to get better, and their off-ball movement really picked up. And I think that's when you really started to see KU have issues. Arkansas was able to get shots inside, and the fouls started to happen. And you look at the foul totals for this game, Arkansas was called for 2 more fouls than Kansas, so you can't necessarily say it was uneven, but there were more fouls called, over 40, than there were minutes in the game. It's just one of those where this game was going to be, I think, decided by how it was officiated. If they let the guys play, I think it really would have helped Kansas because obviously they don't have the depth, and you look at who comes off the bench for Arkansas. It's probably my player of the game for Arkansas. It's Jordan Walsh, number 13. He's incredible. And I think you want to talk about where the game shifts, right? About the 10-minute mark of the first half. That's one shift. And then the second half, about 10 minutes to play, when Arkansas puts Jordan Walsh on Jalen Wilson. Jalen Wilson has been incredible this season, and Walsh is the type of person that can give him issues. He's about 6'7", has over a 7-foot wingspan. He's going to be playing in the NBA next season. And he gave Wilson some fits, and credit to Jalen, kept fighting, really tried to get to the rim, got to the free throw line a bunch, but it wasn't enough. And you look down the stretch of the game, Grady Dick didn't really show up. DeJuan Harris was okay, but I think you maybe saw a little bit of the effects of the ankle sprain that he suffered. And then Kevin McCullough fouls out, and all of a sudden you're really running out of options if you're looking at the Kansas lineup. So over the final 3 minutes, 45 seconds of the game, KU doesn't make a shot from the field. They missed the front end of 1-and-1s twice, which theoretically is missing out on a total of 4 points. If you want to say KU shoots 75% from the line, fine, you can take 3 points there. That's a moment. The 10-second call against DeJuan Harris, that's a moment. All these things really built up into one big culmination, which is KU blowing a 12-point lead. So what does this leave now? Obviously I think Bill Self's health long-term is going to be a topic of discussion. Norm Roberts was the one that coached, and I think KU did miss Self today, but is he able to continue to get healthier so that, you think about next season and just the long-term future of the program? Is he the one coaching? Right? Now, as you look at the roster, it's going to look a lot different next year. I'll be the first one to tell you that. There's going to be a lot of new players at Kansas. Obviously, they've got 3 freshmen right now, potentially a 4th if Marcus Adams Jr. reclassifies. And then Kansas is going to go to the transfer portal. They're going to go try and find some more plug-and-play players because you look at what they return, it's going to feel a lot like last year, where you look at the production and what you lose, there's not going to be a ton in terms of scoring production returning. It's going to be DeJuan Harris, KJ Adams. Outside of that, those are kind of the ones you know. So should be a fascinating offseason. Of course, we'll have you covered at fog.net, so make sure you stay tuned there for all sorts of KU basketball coverage.